What a week that was.
Wow, that was a good week.
That was like the best week I've ever had.
Ever.
Well, since living in California.
Yeah.
That was a pretty special one.
Yeah, it was good for us to get a swell like that at the very end of March at Rincon, and especially that one little window we had on Wednesday where it wasn't really forecasted, no one was around for it, and the cove was like as good as it gets.
As good as it gets.
Mikey Febs was in town.
He was.
So that worked out. He scored. Bobby came down.
Yeah.
The rare Bobby appearance.
Yeah.
And the cove just as good as it gets. It was sick to see Mikey out at Rincon. It's kind of one of the first times he's gotten it proper.
That one day in particular was like the first time that he's actually seen it proper.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And he was riding a few different things. He was on the Febs fish, of course. Mm-hmm. Dane G was out on the Febs fish. I was riding my Febs fish that day. And then he was also we're working on a shortboard with Febs. Mm-hmm. And can't say too much about it yet, but he rode that a bit. A bunch of the CT crew are on it right now, so it's already been ridden on the CT level and continue to be. So it's cool to see him testing that at Rincon.
Yep.
And then he was riding some weird little round nose things as well. that we'll also not talk about.
That's just Febs being Febs. He just loves to tinker and ride all these little things.
Yeah, it's good.
Keeps the mind turning.
Well, he looks so good on all of them. And the crew at Rincon was stoked to see him.
Yeah.
Everyone was so excited to see him surf. He's so fast.
I know.
His speed at Rincon, especially on his fish, is like next level. I was sitting out the back.
I was going to say that.
I was sitting out back at the cove. I was in pole position, and it was Mikey's first time getting proper cove. And I'm like, Mikey, this is where you line up. And I showed him the lineup on the beach. I'm like, this is the spot. He's like, oh, okay, thank you. You know, all polite. Wow. And then sits there for like 10 seconds, and then paddles like 60 yards up the point. And I'm just like, what is he doing, dude? I just showed him where the lineup is. Like, sets are stacking up. Like, he's so out to lunch. What's he doing? And then this, like, really good set comes in, set of the day. It's coming right to me. I'm in pole position. I'm, like, shaking. I'm so excited. And as I'm paddling for it, I look up the point, and he's 60 yards up the point, already flying on it, just coming down the line. It fully pro surfered me, like, this is where you sit. And he's like, no, actually, it's way up there. And so I just dropped in on him.
So then you went anyway.
I dropped in on him.
I remember seeing that paddling out and going, who is that fading? Oh, it's Britt again. Yep. Yep. Another swell, Rincon, Mikey's here, and then the wave of the day comes through and Britt shares it with him.
Well, I kicked out, though.
Eventually.
I kicked out. It's that wave. He was more worthy of that wave than I was.
But yeah, we got a whole gamut of things last week. So even in the smaller days, when it was small and onshore, we're doing a bunch of stuff with the Better every day.
Yeah.
With Eithan, and we had Tomas Hermes in town from Brazil.
Such a great guy. Such a good surfer.
Yeah, he's a little ninja.
Yeah. That was cool for him to come through town and get some little waves.
Yeah, that was super cool for him to be able to get that opportunity to surf and you know, do everything in one go. And then the other cool thing was Talia and Bella Kenworthy were in town too.
Yeah.
Before they were off to their, you know, Bella to the CT and Talia to the QS. The El Salvador CT is about to start, which is what we're about to pack for. But Talia went off and won the Pro Junior and the QS in Barbados.
Yeah, she's on fire. And then we had 2 days after that, that Friday morning was pumping, like solid size.
Seeing Barron and then also Parker do their thing, just like teeing off on those big ones, those big clean ones.
Yeah, that was cool. Barron popped in for just half a day on his way to El Sal and dropped off some boards for us to fix, gave me a reference board of a Magic one, picked up a few new ones, and then it was cool to get, he was actually trying out that board that we're working on with Febs out of Rincon. It was cool to see him get some turns on that. And that was also the first time he scored proper Rincon or ever surfed Rincon.
Yeah.
That was his first surf at Rincon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was sick as well. So busy week with that stuff. And now we're just packing up for El Salvador. We're leaving early tomorrow morning.
Yep.
And so we're taking a bunch down to Joao, taking several down to Brisa, got one for Bella here. I think I'm I think I'm packing my Febs fish for this
That's
trip.
your new spirit animal right there.
Yeah, I was trying to decide between that and the better every day, but I think I'm taking the Febs fish to El Sal.
I think everyone in the lineup is going to hate you riding that board.
Yeah, I'm stoked. It's 2 more liters than I usually ride, so like the wave catching potential is
Oh yeah, that's going to be a good one to watch.
pretty epic on that one.
Yeah. Well, we better get them packed. El Salvador starts Wednesday. And it's Monday.
Yeah, we're out of here.
We're out here.
Let's pack them up and go.
Not enough fin, Bob. Better get that BFF.
Oh, look at this little
Watch here.
one. Yeah!
Oh, watch this.
Oh, for days, yes. Wow.
Just come in, bro.
That's it. Today's done. Pack it up, boys. Turn the camera off, Sean. We're done.